Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnavindra ki jai, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai, Prem se kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivas Adi Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai, Sri Radha Krishna Go Gopinath Sam Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan ki jai, Vrindavan Dham ki jai, Navadvip Dham ki jai, Swami Bhaktivinoda ki jai, Ganga Mai ki jai, Jamuna Mai ki jai, Tulasi Devi ki jai, Bhakti Devi ki jai, Swami Bhaktivinoda ki jai. All glories to the assembled Lord. All glories to the assembled Lord. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. Am I audible, visible?
Hare Krishna, yes, you are. Radha Prabhu, yes.
Okay. All right.
Salika Prabhu. Okay. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept our humble obeisances. All glories to Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Guru Dev. All glories to our revered speaker for today, His Grace ARADHYA Bhagavan Prabhu. Dear devotees, we thank you all for being here today. Am I audible? I just want to find out. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So, we're very grateful you're all here today with us, and we have His Grace ARADHYA Bhagavan Prabhu, who will be speaking to us from the Srimad Bhagavatam. ARADHYA Bhagavan Prabhu needs no introduction. He is one of our regular speakers who is so kind and merciful to share his love and association with us from time to time. Prabhuji, I believe you are speaking from India at the moment, right?
I am speaking from India, from Srila Prabhupada's birthplace, Calcutta.
Jai! Hare Krishna, Hare Haribol. All glories, all glories. So it's very inspiring because you get to open up a new chapter with us today. We begin a new chapter of Canto 3, Chapter 5.
Five or six.
Sorry, Chapter 6. Thank you.
We give you a heart attack, Prabhu.
Yeah. Sorry. We just ended Chapter 5 yesterday. So we start a new chapter today, Chapter 6. Yes, so text 1. So without further ado, Prabhu, you will put the verse on the screen and then you take it over from here. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay. Bhagavatam prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Deving Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye. Nashtaprayesha Vajreshu Nityam Bhagavate Sevaya. Bhagavati Uttamashtoke Bhakti Bhavati Naishtike. Hare Krishna. Okay, so we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 6, verse number 1. So right now we are discussing Vidura's questions. Chapter 1 was questions by Vidura. The discussions between Vidura and Maitreya Rishi is still continuing, and as a part of that discussion we are hearing from Maitreya Rishi. Vidura is hearing from Maitreya Rishi and we are getting the mercy of proper questioning, the art of questioning by Vidura. So we will read the shloka. Please repeat after me. Rishiruvacha
Rishiruvacha
iti tasam swashaktinam
iti tasham swashaktinam
satinam asamityasa
satinamasa metyasa
prashuptalokatantranam
prashita tantranam
nishamyagatmishvara
nisham yagatim ishvara
iti tasam swashaktinam
iti tasam swashaktinam
shatitam asametyasa
satinamasa metyasa
prashuptalokatantranam
prashupta tantranam
nishamyagatmishvara
nisham yagatim ishvara
iti tasam swashaktinam
iti tasam swashaktinam
satinam ashametyasa
satinamasa metyasa
prashuptalokatantranam
prashupta tantranam
nishamyagatmishvara.
nisham yagatim ishvara
Prabhuji's
Rishiruvacha
Rishiruvacha
iti tashanam swashaktinam
iti tasam swashaktinam
satinamasametyasa
ratinama sametyasa
prasupta tantranam
prasuptalokatantranam
nisham yagatimishvara
nishamyagatmishvara. Mataji's. Okay, all right. So we'll stop reciting the verse. We'll move into synonyms. So word for word translation by Srila Prabhupada. Rishi Uvacha.
Rishiruvacha
Rishi Maitreya said,
Rishi Maitreya said
Iti,
iti
thus,
thus
Tasham,
tasam
there,
there
Swashaktinam,
swashaktinam
own potency,
own potency
Shatinam,
shatinam
so situated,
so situated
Ashametya,
sametya
without combination,
without combination
Sa,
sa
he the Lord,
he the Lord
Prashupta,
prashupta
suspended,
suspended
Lokatantranam,
lokatantranam
in the universal creations,
in the universal creations
Nishamya,
nishamya
hearing,
hearing
Gatim,
gatim
progress,
progress
Ishvara,
ishvara
the Lord.
the Lord.
Translation. The Rishi Maitreya said,
The Rishi Maitreya said,
the Lord thus heard about the suspension
the Lord thus heard about the suspension
of the progressive creative functions of the universe
of the progressive creative functions of the universe
due to the non-combination of his potencies,
due to the non-combination of its potencies,
such as the Mahat Tattva.
such as the Mahat Tattva.
The purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki.
Jai.
There
Jai.
is there is nothing wanting in the creation of the Lord. All the potencies are there in a dormant state. But unless they are combined by the will of the Lord, nothing can progress. The suspended progressive work of creation can only be revived by the direction of the Lord. Let's do the Mangalacharan prayers. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनाशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यामनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगण रघुनाथं वितं तं साजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पदा सहगना ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितंश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देव गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे नमो महावदन्नाय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामने गौरतिशे नमः पंचतत्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूप स्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्तक्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी श्रीराधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुस्तुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये नीलाचल निव्यासाय नित्याय परमात्मने बलभद्र सुभद्राभ्यं जगन्नाथाय ते नमः वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धु भयेव च पतितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौड़ भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 रामो राम रामो हरे हरे मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घायते गिरिं यत्कृपातमं वन्दे श्रीगुरो दिनतारिणं श्रीचैतन्येश्वरं परमानन्दमाधवम् नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय बुद्धि श्रीमद् Hare Krishna. So, how are all of you today, devotees?
We're fine. We're fine.
Doing well?
Yes.
And you know why why I am able to ask this question and why you are able to answer this? Because the Lord has willed so, right?
Mm.
The most important thing in this puppet, you see, this is a very small puppet. This is perhaps one of the shortest puppets, right? I don't think this is the shortest, but I'm sure this is one of the shortest, right? So in this puppet, every statement is so significant. There is nothing wanting in the creation of the Lord. Nothing wanting. Important word. All potencies are there in a dormant state. Again, important statement. But unless they are combined by the will of the Lord, nothing can progress. Very important statement. This suspended progressive work of creation can only be revived by the direction of the Lord. Again, a very important statement. So, none of the statements in this three sentence purport can um, can be done away with. All the statements are equally important. In fact, I am sure all of us over here, we have experienced that if we read articles on BTJ magazine, Back to Godhead magazines, right? It is very much possible that we will find one full article just based on one statement, any one of these statements, right? You agree, Sadev Prabhu?
Yes, very much.
Just one statement can become the topic, and one whole article can come in it, right? So that is how important this purport is. Now, of course, if we look at this as a complete in context of Vidura asking questions to uh, what's his name,
Atreya.
Rishi Maitreya. If you look at in that context, then this is a philosophical inquiry. It's a philosophical inquiry where this question answer format has been followed. This question answer format of philosophical inquiry is a very common theme across different shastras. You have Bhishma Dev's questions, you have many other questions actually. Vidura's question is also one of them. A very famous episode in Indian Puranas is or from the Vedic times is Yaksha Prashnas. Do we know what is Yaksha Prashnas over here? Okay. So we know about this pastime, no? That Maharaj Yudhishthir was asked different questions by the Yaksha king, and only if he answers the right questions will he get back his brothers. We know that story, right? So there's this huge series of perfect question, perfect answer between Maharaj Yudhishthir and this Yaksha, the Yaksha king. Okay? So that's called the Yaksha Prashnas. Generally, Yaksha Prashnas, I have not seen people discuss it much in ISKCON. I don't know if any of you have seen it. Have you seen anyone discuss Yaksha Prashnas before, Sadhu Prabhu?
Once in a while, some
Not
of
many.
the questions are discussed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean it's very few and far between. Hardly
yeah,
people discuss Yaksha Prashnas, but Yaksha Prashnas is a very standard philosophical um, question. Like we have PQPA in ISKCON, but in Sri Vaishnavas, Yaksha Prashnas is a very important medium for philosophical discussions or teachings. So if anybody follows any Sri Vaishnavas, he will come across Yaksha Prashnas. Anyways, coming back to this topic. So what I'm basically trying to say is that the whole Srimad Bhagavatam, in fact, is a question and answer. It is a conversation of humble inquiry between Maharaj Parikshit and who? Who?
sugar.
Shruta. Yes. So this format of humble questioning and asking for answers, that itself, art of questioning itself, is a very important part of our learning process and the Vedic learning process. You see, there are very many ways of mm, gaining knowledge, right? And the most effective way of gaining knowledge is pariprashnena sevaya, that we learn from Bhagavad Gita, right? Pariprashnena sevaya. So where a student or an inquisitive individual is making a question to his Shiksha Guru or Diksha Guru, whatever. I mean, to the enlightener or the person who is only already enlightened and takes up the role of being the Shiksha Guru at that in that scenario. So one of the most authentic Vedic ways of gaining knowledge is to make humble inquiry. The word important over here is humbly, humble inquiry, and How do we show our humility? Just by putting our head down and being in this pranama mudra in our hand, right? Is that humble inquiry? No, that is not humble inquiry. That is acting to be humble, right? Humble inquiry means that we have to mm, go on and we have to serve. Sevaya, pariprashnena sevaya. We have to serve our spiritual master or the person we are trying to gain knowledge from. We have to submissively serve that person without any expectations. You know, through that service, what happens is we are establishing a relationship, right? Through service, what we do is we establish a relationship between the knowledge, the person who is holding the knowledge, and myself, the person who is seeking the knowledge, right? Otherwise, it is not going to happen. If you just walk up to somebody with money and we say, please, we don't even say please, we just say, give me your money, give me your money. It's like, my God, you're a weird guy, man. Why the hell should I give you my money? Right? That's how it is, right? You can't do that. Hmm? If you want half of Bill Gates' business empire, you need to work your way up to become somebody of significance to Bill Gates, right? Only when Bill Gates sees some value in you, then only he will, out of his own volition, he will decide to, do something for you. He may write a good check amount for you. He may invest in your idea. He may, he may do different things, but the whole point is you have to first build a relationship with that person, right? Otherwise, every ISKCON devotee in the world would walk up to Ambarish Prabhu. I don't know if you know Ambarish Prabhu. He is the great great grandson of Henry Ford and a disciple of Srila Prabhupada, and the main uh, force behind the Temple of Vedic Planetarium in Mayapur, which is going to be one of the largest temples and structures in the world very soon. So, you know, otherwise everybody would just walk up to Ambarish Prabhu and say, "Please give me write a blank check for me." Yeah? It doesn't happen that way, right? So similarly, knowledge, which is the actual wealth of any human being. I mean, knowledge is not just wealth for brahmanas or anybody. Knowledge is wealth for any human being in the world. Brahmanas know that it is wealth and they value that wealth more than anything else. Kshatriya's wealth is his valor and his power, right? So Brahmana's wealth is his knowledge. Because he knows that he values his own knowledge as his wealth. That is why his wealth is his knowledge, right? But truly speaking, anybody's knowledge or his know-how is his wealth, right? So if you want somebody's wealth, then the most important thing is that you need to build up a relationship, right? Without a relationship, nothing is going to happen. Hmm? Do you agree with me? Hare Krishna, am I
Yeah.
audible?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So let us coming back to our topic again. So Vidura is asking Rishi Maitreya about different topics. So in this part, he is going to make enquiries of the whole process of creation, and he is going to create one of the most difficult curriculum for Bhakti Vaibhav course. Right? Why did Vidura have to ask these questions? So that ISKCON Bhakti Vaibhav teachers can really formulate a very difficult questions in their Bhakti Vaibhav curriculum, right? Is that the reason? Vidura asked these questions so that Bhakti Vaibhav can become a very difficult course? No. Vidura asked these questions because he was a seeker of knowledge. I mean, he was a seeker of the truth, right? And the whole Srimad Bhagavatam is talking about Krishna's Leelas, right? Sometimes as Narasimhadev and sometimes as Krishna himself towards the end in the 10th canto onwards, right? So Srimad Bhagavatam is basically stories. Hmm? Srimad Bhagavatam in reality is stories. Actually, yesterday I was discussing with a very senior devotee in Mayapur that um, see Bhagavad Gita. I mean, I've said this in one of my previous classes as well on this particular platform also that Sri Bhagavad Gita is all about philosophy, right? It's not about stories. Hmm? There is no story in Bhagavad Gita, right? It's all just philosophy, philosophy, philosophy. Right? It's more like a codex. Hmm? Srimad Bhagavatam, in reality, is a storybook, right? A nice story of how a lion-headed man jumps out of a pillar and kills the demon, right? These kinds of stories, right? That is what Srimad Bhagavatam is. It is a storybook in reality, right? But Srila Prabhupada's mercy, the way he has created the Srimad Bhagavatam, shlokas and the translations and the purports, whole Srimad Bhagavatam is actually a book of philosophy also for us, right? If we just read Srimad Bhagavatam shlokas one after another, then it's a storybook. But if we start going into every shloka, trying to understand the depth of the philosophical basis, behind every story, every leela, every pastime that is sketched out, it is all philosophy. Hmm? And that is what makes it very so complete, right? My Guru Maharaj is on his Bhakti Charu Swami Guru Maharaj. He says in one of the videos, maybe you've seen that video or that YouTube reel where he says that Srila Prabhupada has given us everything, right? Prabhupada has given us everything. What has Prabhupada given us? Prabhupada has given us Srimad Bhagavatam, he has given us Bhagavad Gita and Chaitanya Chaitamrita, and then the other derivative books, right? The main text of Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Chaitamrita, Ishopanishad, Nectar of Instruction, Nectar of Devotion. These are the main textual books that he has given us, right? And then the small books with all the derivatives, right? More or less, this is the body of books that Srila Prabhupada has given us. Of course, there are other things as well, but mostly this is the body of works that he has given us. But but my Guru Maharaj is saying Srila Prabhupada has given us everything. Hmm? So does that mean Jaiva Dharma is not important? Srila Prabhupada has not given us Jaiva Dharma translation. Has Srila Prabhupada given us Jaiva Dharma translation? No. So does that mean it is not important? Srila Prabhupada has not given us Madhurya Kadambini translation. Does that mean it is not important? Srila Prabhupada has not given us Hari Bhakti Vilas translation. Is it not important? Srila Prabhupada has not translated the 6 Sandarbhas of the Goswamis, which is the basic book of philosophy for Gaudiya Vaishnava, any Gaudiya Vaishnava in the Chaitanya tree. Does that mean the Sandarbhas are not important? or we can do away with the Sandarbhas? Definitely not. But still, my Guru Maharaj is saying Srila Prabhupada has given us everything. Why has he said this? Because if we read whatever Srila Prabhupada has given us, just whatever he has given us, the BBT published books, let's cut it down to that. The BBT published books, because BBT right now publishes only Srila Prabhupada's translations and a few books here and there. The Srila Prabhupada AC Bhaktivedanta Swami books that BBT publishes. If we just go by that, with Srila Prabhupada's purports, okay, I am not, please don't ask me questions about controversies of BBT editing out stuff and original Macmillan publications and this and that. I am not getting into any controversy. I'm not saying BBT is better than Macmillan publication, or the edited books are better than the other books, or the other books are better than edited books. I'm not getting into controversy. What I'm just trying to make the point over here is that simply whatever Srila Prabhupada has given us as purpose through his lectures, through his letters, they they actually encompass the whole body of knowledge that we as a Jivatma need to realize our position as Krishna's servant. Simply by reading Srila Prabhupada's books and following the instructions that he has given us, we we will comfortably be in a position to go to the stage of a realized soul. If you want to do it, we can do that. The problem is we don't read Nectar of Devotion, all the chapters, understand. One thing is reading, the other thing is understanding, right? We don't understand, we don't internalize everything in our lives, and then we start thinking, oh, Bhakti Vinod Thakur wrote such and such statement in Jaiva Dharma. How is that Jaiva Dharma statement corroborating against this one particular line in Guruva Ashtakam? We kind of try to do these kinds of logical thinking without understanding the basic fact that in Nectar of Devotion, which Srila Prabhupada has given us, he has very simply in all the 15 chapters, the first 19 chapters that we study in Bhakti Shastri, the only basic thing that everything that book is trying to say in very basic layman terms is please follow your Guru Maharaj submissively. This is the only simple statement that Nectar of Instruction is, Nectar of Devotion, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, is telling us in 19 chapters. Do we do that? We don't do that. But we will go and we will use our mind to, use logic. And through that, what are we doing? We are simply doing sense gratification of our intellect. Am I right? We are simply doing sense gratification of our intellect. On the contrary, if we simply read Srila Prabhupada's books, it is complete enough for us to reach the platform of knowledge or the platform of a realized soul. Once we are in a platform of a realized soul, everything that is written in Jaiva Dharma will naturally manifest in our heart. We don't have to worry about it. Divya Gyan Hridaya Prakashito. So that is what my Guru Maharaj basically meant when he said that Srila Prabhupada has given us everything. Now, I will again come back to this particular purport that which says that all potencies are in a dormant state. And then it says, but unless they're combined by the will of the Lord, nothing can progress. So, I did a very quick search on this Prabhupada folio with one simple line, without this and God's sanction. If you do a quick search of without God's sanction, just these three words on folio, which is Veda base or whatever we want to call, and I just found that there are thousands and thousands of places and lectures and letters where Srila Prabhupada is just simply keeping on saying, without God's sanction, you cannot get anything. Without God's sanction, you cannot get anything. In Delhi in 1973, Srila Prabhupada is saying that look at these communists, they are such donkeys because the communists say that God will not be able to give you food. For food, you will have to work. Because you work, that is why you get your food. This is what the communist is saying. And Srila Prabhupada is saying that they are dushkritina. Why? Because they are completely rejecting the position of God. Srila Prabhupada is saying that these people are sinful people because they are rejecting the position of God. Without sanction of God, you cannot get anything. That is what Srila Prabhupada is saying in Delhi. Again, in San Francisco in 1968, Srila Prabhupada has said, not a grass moves without the sanction of God. Hmm? So, like this, Srila Prabhupada in multiple places, he simply keeps saying, without the sanction of God, nothing is possible. The same statement, not a blade of glass moves without the sanction of God. This is something that he makes the same statement once in 1968 in San Francisco and again in London in 1973. Hmm. So, what I'm basically trying to say over here is that just by following Srila Prabhupada and his mood, we can achieve the level of devotion that a practicing devotee wants to reach, which is the position of a Shuddha Bhakti, right? Which is a position of spontaneous love for our spiritual master, right? What does a devotee desire? Service of Krishna or love for spiritual master? What is a devotee's desire? Anybody can answer? What does a true devotee desire? I'm giving you two options. Loving Krishna spontaneously or complete surrender to my Guru or loving my Guru Maharaj spontaneously. What is a devotee's desire?
That's a hard question. I don't know whether or not I don't know whether or not it's the way you're putting it from a semantical perspective. There's something about that's a little tricky in the way it's presented. So serving the spiritual master is the highest because it is through that vein, through that doorway, that we can actually serve Krishna.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
So a
Thank you.
devotee, Hare Krishna, thank you. So yes, it is a trick question. So a devotee's desire is not to serve Krishna. A devotee's desire is to be a good servant of a spiritual master. Because a devotee understands that simply by serving my spiritual master or simply by surrendering myself completely and honestly to Guru Agya, which is the orders of my spiritual master, I can attain perfection. That is the only way to attain perfection in my service, is to complete surrenderance of my Guru. So a devotee does not have to desire or have to think about Krishna. So in that trick question, devotees don't think about Krishna. Devotees think about Guru Maharaj. Hmm? And this I'm saying from Nectar of Devotion actually. Hmm? So when we understand that without Krishna's mercy, nothing is happening, we also come to the stage of understanding that everything is happening because my Guru Maharaj is blessing me. Now, this is a very, very subtle kind of an understanding. It's a very, very subtle kind of an understanding. See, when we are not proper devotees, we are in a position of not understanding what God is doing for me. Right? We don't even understand, we are in a state of mind where we are like, what has God done for me? I am in so much of trouble. What has God done for me? Right? More or less, this is a state I am in. Then we move into a situation where we begin to understand Krishna is everywhere. Without Krishna, human beings cannot even make their own food. We cultivate our grains and fruits and all of these things, but it is nature which gives it to us, right? Because Krishna has sanctioned, that's why we have it. We need oxygen. We can break water molecule into hydrogen and oxygen, but in reality that is not the oxygen we breathe in, right? You cannot go into a laboratory and take one beaker of oxygen, one beaker of water, get oxygen and hydrogen out of it, and then start smelling that oxygen and live on that oxygen. It's not possible. It's impractical, right? In reality, the oxygen that we are breathing, Krishna has given us. Human beings are not giving it to us. We as human beings, we think that we can go to the moon. That's another controversy altogether. We think that we can go to the moon, but in reality, we cannot even grow our own food, right? So we come to the situation platform of understanding that Krishna is doing everything for us, or God is giving us everything. God is so merciful. And then when we actually become a proper devotee, a Shuddha Bhakta, a Shuddha Bhakta, a pure devotee, we come to the level of understanding that whatever mercy I have received in my life, it is because my Guru Maharaj has given me that kripa. Because my Guru Maharaj has given me that mercy. Without my Guru Maharaj's blessings, I am nothing. Without my Guru Maharaj's blessings, I am nothing. Now, I will substantiate this thought with a very strong statement. We have read Chaitanya Chaitamrita, right? We have all heard about the pastimes of Chota Haridas. We have, right? Chota Haridas was pushed to commit suicide, right? And Chota Haridas received his mercy of the Lord because he committed suicide on the instruction of the Lord. He would not have got mercy if he had said that, oh, my spiritual master, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in this case, has asked me to commit suicide, so I will not commit suicide. I am rejecting him. I will go to some other sampradaya. Then he would not get the perfection of his life, right? His life would not have been perfected. His life got perfected because he committed suicide on the instruction of his spiritual master. Let's put it in very layman terms. Spiritual master, which in this case is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is God himself, and blah blah blah. All that philosophical things can come into the point. But the basic point I'm trying to make is, we, at least I myself, am more abominable than Chaitanya Chota Haridas. I cannot reach that level of purity or that level of surrenderance. I am way below Chota Haridas. Okay, I'm not talking about any of you, I'm just talking about myself. Okay, being there, my spiritual master is allowing me to perform yagyas. Being there, my spiritual master is allowing me to serve deities. Okay, he's doing all these things. So the fact that I can dance around, I can give classes on Hare Krishna Africa, and I can talk to all of you, and I can feel that, oh, what a big speaker I am. I can feel aham kara vimuratma karta aham iti manyate. I can boost my own ego. It's all because my spiritual master is allowing me to do it, because he's tolerating me. It is his mercy that he's tolerating me, right? So everything that we can do is because of the spiritual master's blessings. And the whole thing that is happening around us is because this mercy that my spiritual master is giving me is the mercy that is actually flowing from Krishna. The mercy is flowing from Krishna. Krishna is a supremely merciful being. Hmm? We cannot think how fantastically merciful the Lord is, because the Lord will tolerate everything except one thing. What? When the Lord's devotees are blasphemed. Other than that, the Lord will always tolerate everything. And so that is the source of that mercy. That is the teachings that our Shastras is telling us, and Krishna is giving us through their Shastras. And that is the mood that our spiritual masters are carrying forward. And with that, I am able to live. So the fact that I am breathing and I have not been asked to go and commit suicide, it's because I am enjoying that mercy of the Lord. So it is very important, dear devotees, that we must understand that everything that we are doing is through the sanction of the spiritual master, through the sanction of Lord. And the Lord is sanctioning and tolerating all of us. Why? Because He is supremely merciful. And that mercy is flowing to me through my spiritual master. Every single day, our spiritual master, they pray in their prayers to the Lord, in their pujas, in their daily worship. They are praying to the Lord for us so that we can get an opportunity to become a better devotee and serve Srila Prabhupada's mission better. It is because of their prayers that we are breathing. Without that, we are nobody. So this particular purport is something which is laden with very deep thoughts, which we very easily suspend out. I was preparing for this class, and I was seeing in YouTube most of the classes are like 3.6 SB 3.6.1 to 3.6.10. Why? Because 6.1 to 6.10 gives a complete picture of a particular thought process. Hmm. So as long as that thought process is complete, it is easy to give a lecture, right? It's easy to discuss. That's why many people, YouTube, I'm seeing from SB 3.6.1 to 10, like that people are discussing. But when I read this particular purport, I was like, oh my God, I actually have 3 back to Godhead articles from one small purport. That is how philosophy laden this purport is. And it is something of very deep introspection for us to realize that nothing we can do without Krishna. Krishna does not need us. We need Krishna. In fact, if you read the purport of the next verse, tomorrow you will read this purport. I will just read only one small portion of that purport. I will not read, I'll just speak about one small portion in that purport. You will see Srila Prabhupada in his purport, he is speaking about Bhagavad Gita 10.42, where he is saying Krishna's words, and Krishna is telling Arjuna what? There is no necessity for your knowing my innumerable energies. So Krishna is telling Arjuna, my dear Arjuna, you don't need to know how fantastically I am saving you every day. I am letting you live every day. Is Krishna saying that to Arjuna? No, Krishna is saying that to me. Krishna is saying that to us. That, oh, you donkey, stop putting your head using mimamsa and logic and this and that. Simply use your brains and serve your spiritual master. You will be fine. Don't start thinking, oh, Krishna is once like this, Krishna is once like that, Krishna has said this over here, that person has said that over there. This spiritual master, this Prabhuji has said this thing in the YouTube video, that Prabhuji has written that thing in his book, and then try to use your brains to try to logically establish yourself or connect yourself. Then the whole time you will only simply be wasting your energy. That is what Krishna is saying in that purport, in that shloka in Bhagavad Gita. There is no necessity for your knowing my innumerable energies. This is what Krishna is saying. Hmm? So, dear devotees, my humble prayers to all of you, and I pray for myself that we can become better devotees simply by surrendering ourselves completely to Srila Prabhupada and my spiritual master, and serve all devotees with one simple understanding that I am not the Karta. Krishna is the original doer. I am simply a small piece of the great machinery that Krishna has created. Hare Krishna. Thank you, dear devotees.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, ARADHYA Bhagwan Prabhu. Thank you so much for sharing this wisdom with us. In fact, I very much recall His Holiness Gaur Govinda Swami Maharaj. Maharaj would give classes on the Bhagavatam, and he will speak for not less than 3 hours. Because Maharaj says, just like you were saying, that just one word in the text or in Srila Prabhupada's paper can take us months and months to exhaust it. So thank you so much, even though the purport appears to be short, but it's very fully loaded, and you helped us have a better understanding to the text and the purport. Mitravinda Devi, please, you may unmute. Hare Krishna, thank you. Mitra.
Hare Krishna. Please hit
Hare
my
Krishna.
blessings, everyone.
Wow.
All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to
Okay.
Bhakti Tirtha Swami Maharaj, and all of our respective Guru Maharajas. I want to thank you for this very effulgent and educational speaking that you did today, Prabhu. My question regards your statement on everything that we do is because of Krishna. Is that what I understood? Whatever we do because Krishna sanctioned it or because it's supposed to be done. I want to have a discussion on that because I want to understand how it is in our relationships with each other as aspiring servants and good disciples that we can act in ways that do not represent Guru or the philosophy of bhakti at times. And if we're doing what Krishna wants, then how does it relate? And are we considering also that we are imperfect and our imperfections? We can't relate those to Krishna? Question mark. I'm just trying to understand the statement and how it works with when we, for example, are abusive to others, whether they are actively aspiring in the Vaishnava culture or not. Offenses, which are opposite of our culture. Please elaborate, Prabhu.
You are muted, ARADHYA Bhagavan Prabhu, please. Okay.
Hare Krishna. Thank you
Hare
for the
Krishna.
wonderful question. Sorry, I was muted.
Yeah.
Sadhu Prabhu, I have written a WhatsApp to you before I joined the class, so please be careful of that. Okay. So this
Okay,
will be the last
thank you.
question. I'll take this. Okay, because I need to drive back to Mayapur now. But I
Okay.
will take this question. And thank you, Mataji, for asking this wonderful question. So let me put it this way. See, the whole creation that we are existing in right now is not something which is a mathematical 1 plus 1 2. Okay, when I say it is a simple mathematical 1 plus 1 2 means that we don't have a clarity, a visibility, not a clarity and visibility, but more visibility. We don't have an exact visibility of how this whole karmic network works. Okay, see, in a very simple term, we'd say good karma, bad karma, which is like credit and debit in your bank account, right? Which is plus and minus. That's a very oversimplification of the karmic ways of working. In reality, the karmic network does not work in this credit debit thing uh, the way we are used to seeing it in our bank account statements. Okay. Now, having said that, I'll come to a specific thing that, when I am doing something which is hurtful to another devotee, then how is it that Krishna has sanctioned it? Right? Now you have to understand, in reality, I am not a pure devotee. The person I am doing with this is on either a pure devotee. Okay, we are both not pure devotees. We are both practicing devotees, which means we are still heavily into our karmic life. Our karmic account balance is not zero. Okay, we are leading our karmic life. Along with that, we are attempting to reach a position of pure devotional service, a pure devotee, where everything we do is an akarma. We want to reach that stage. We have not reached that stage. Okay. Again, I want to make it very clear that I only speak for myself. There may be very wonderful pure devotees of the Lord sitting over here. Please don't take offense. Okay. I don't know all of you personally. So this is only about me, not about anyone else. I am not a pure devotee. I am a practicing devotee. And I pray to all of you and your lotus feet that you can bless me, that I can become a pure devotee someday. Anyways, uh, having said that, so when we see an occurrence like that in real life, we have to understand karma is at play over here. There is some karma at play over here. When a devotee is divorcing a devotee, both of them are nice devotees, but they are divorcing one another. There is karma at play over there. So how karma is playing this, we don't know. The purpose of pure devotional the purpose of devotional service is for us to slowly finish our karma, all good karma, bad karma, to zero, and move into the platform of Shuddha Bhakti or pure devotional service, where all our action is now an akarma, not a vikarma. I hope you know karma, akarma, vikarma. Right now, we are doing all these three things. We don't even know how much of our karma is actually going into akarma. Many of the things we are imagining to be akarma is actually coming out as vikarma, maybe we don't know, or as karma, we don't know. Only for a pure devotee does all his actions become akarma. Okay, so now, having established my theory of karma in front of you, now I will say that why I said that everything happens by the will of the Lord, because this whole karmic network that works was established by the will of the Lord. It is not that Krishna is individually, saying that, oh, Sahadev Prabhu is allowed to, for the next 5 minutes, blaspheme Aradhya Bhagavan Prabhu, or Aradhya Bhagavan Das. Sorry, I'm not Prabhu, I'm Das. Okay. So it is not like that. It's not that Krishna has given 5 minutes of freedom to Sahadev Prabhu to blaspheme Aradhya Bhagavan Das. That is not how it happens. If there is a karmic entanglement between the two of us, and I deserve some karmic reactions from some other karma, from some other lifetime, and Sahadev Prabhu has from some other lifetime has got some karmic reactions from somebody else, and that needs to be balanced out in that karmic balance. And then in this life, when we both meet, then it gets balanced. And if we try to do this 1 + 1 2 and this credit debit, it will never match, because we don't have the visibility of the whole karmic design of the Lord. Hare Krishna. I don't know how much of that made sense to you, but I just tried to put it in as simplified words as I could.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate
Krishna.
that. I'd like to also add, though, if I might, that, you know, karma exists. And yes, our goal is not to gain more karma uh, in the positive or the negative. But I just like to offer a perspective that was given to myself and God brothers and God sisters that know of it, that we have free will. So at any moment, if there is an instance where there is some aspect of karma that approaches us, we get to decide how we deal with it. So if someone stepped on my toe in a previous lifetime, and now they're stepping on my toe in this lifetime, and I stepped on their toe. I have a choice of whether I'm going to do that or not. And as much as we can be in the present moment, which is an aspect of the yogic practice, as much as we're being present of Krishna in the present moment, we can decide to do what is best. And in doing what is best, then we don't continue on the cycle of stepping on other people's toes so they can step on our toes and back on their toes repeatedly. So moving out of the aspect of karma looks more like that in terms of how we deal with one another.
No,
And I just wanted to remind, it's a choice. It's a choice of how we do it. But what I was speaking about specifically is when people do things and they go, oh, well, I'm doing service. That's why I can do this. Or they have this concept that because I have a position, because I'm doing service, it doesn't matter what I do. And I was referencing that in terms of what you said earlier. But
no,
yeah.
I agree with what you said about the free will. It is true. So I, at every point, I have a point to choose and break that cycle and move into a more positive direction. That is true. But I break it and I can choose to not step it again. But this person who has hurt me, Krishna will find some other way to rectify that person, or that karma goes back to him. It does not necessarily has to go back to him through me.
Mhm, mhm.
You know, so everybody will get back their karmic reactions. That is true. But I, as a generator of a cycle, I can always have a free will of not starting that circle or breaking that cycle. That way
Acha,
I can move into the positive, you know.
of
Yeah.
And this
course.
whole concept of purification of our soul is based on that choice.
Mm, mm. The what I'm guessing getting at, I guess in a nutshell, is when people hear that because I'm doing service, I'm forgiven everything. That
No,
is no,
No,
that
yes,
is
no,
that's
no,
a,
okay.
it's a
no.
that's a
That is aparad.
misconception. It's a
That is
misconception.
aparad.
Yes,
It is not
yes,
it
but
is not a misconception. It is an aparad.
yes, it
It
is that
is it
also.
is it is an aparad.
Yes.
It is not knowing it. It is zero knowledge. You know, it is not being educated enough in Krishna consciousness.
Mm.
That is
Yes,
immaturity.
yes, but it
That
happens
is
quite often.
immaturity.
It
Yes,
happens
it
quite
does.
often
Very true.
in hearing
Very
from
true.
their filter. You know, we get to hear from our own filter. You understand? The problem is when it's not checked
Yeah.
by people above them in terms of
Yes, yes.
authority.
That is
So,
why you will find that, you know, in like nectar of devotion, like I said, that all 19 chapters, if you read the first 19 chapters of Bhakti Shastri, the
mhm.
basic one liner that whole of Bhakti Shastri is nectar of devotion is telling us is just one sentence: serve your Guru Maharaj honestly with complete surrender.
Mm.
You know, that checking comes in from the Guru.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Hare
Patricia.
Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mitravendra Devi, for the questions and reflections. And
Yeah.
Aradhya Bhagwan Prabhu, thank you for alerting me that you had sent me a message. I didn't see that until you mentioned it. So thank you. Dear devotees, before our speaker spoke, he shared with us where his location is, that he is at Calcutta, the divine appearance place of Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada. And I just saw he had sent me a message before the class began that he will have to drive back from Calcutta to Mayapur right after this class. And it is almost 9:30, 9:40 p.m. his time. So I believe you will agree with me that we will have to let him go. But if you also agree with me, Radha Bhagavan Prabhu, most of us here are from the Christian background.
Hmm.
And in the Bible, there was a time where Jacob had an encounter with God he saw God and he held on to God's feet, lotus feet, and he said to God, if you do not bless me, I'm not going to let you go away today. So in our humble attempt to be like Jacob, we're also telling you, we're asking you that since you are on the holy dam of Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada, you beautifully shared with us our whole goal in devotional life is the mercy of the Guru. So you are there where Srila Prabhupada took his appearance. So please, we humbly request you that you ask Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada to bless us so that under all circumstances, we try to serve Guru Krishna in this lifetime and definitely make this lifetime our last life in this material world. This is our humblest request, please.
Definitely, Prabhu.
Hare
I
Krishna.
pray for all devotees that, all of us together can go back to Godhead and we can all have our own Sangha in service of Krishna. We can all together serve Radha Madhav in front of us. We are serving him in Mayapur, but we want to serve them in Goloka. Hare Krishna.
Jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. So, dear devotees, we're going to humbly request you all to kindly unmute and we all chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra to express our appreciation to our revered speaker, His Grace, ARADHYA Bhagavan Prabhu, even though he had a very constrained and a limited time, but he still made time to be with us today. Jai. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Mancha kalpa tarubhyascha, sindhya eva cha, patitanam Vaishnav namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. All glories to His Grace, ARADHYA Bhagavan Prabhu ki jai. All glories to His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj ki jai. All glories to Jagat Guru Param Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. And all glories to assembled Vaishnavi devotees. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare